Jill Simonello with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and today I'm driving the Lexus LX 600. And both Tim and I have already driven this vehicle, but it was in more of a first look driving situation. So instead of digging into the details and doing a deep dive into this vehicle, because we've already done that, instead what I want to do in this video is take a look at it at night. So I am going to give you a couple of brief driving impressions because I have had this in the city and on the highway and for a little bit of a longer test. But the bulk of this video is going to be the Lexus LX 600 after dark. So let's take a closer look right now. So before we get into some of the nighttime stuff, it's still light outside, so I figured I'd take that opportunity to give you some quick driving impressions. And I've now been driving this for a week in the city of Chicago. I've been on the highway. I've been on the surface streets a lot. So stop sign, stop sign, stop sign. And I do have a couple of things that I want to say about the LX 600. And the first thing is, the auto stop start doesn't completely suck. It's not great, but it doesn't go it's not, you don't hear it too much, and it doesn't like make the vehicle shake and vibrate. So it's not awful. I still would turn it off because I don't like that pause before you go. But overall, the auto stop start is not awful. We'll just leave it at that. But the other thing that I want to say is I actually really like how this drives. It's a tank. Don't get me wrong. It is a tank. And getting in and out of my garage is like a but this is really smooth. So I've been going over potholes, I've been going over speed bumps, I've been going over some uneven road surfaces. Okay, a lot of uneven road surfaces in Chicago. And this barely registers any of that. So it does a really nice job kind of smoothing out the surfaces, and I really appreciate that. And the seats are comfortable, they're firm, but they've got just enough squish that I don't feel like I'm really sitting on cardboard. They're just a little bit firm. So seating comfort is good. You know, the overall ride is very smooth, and this engine is really fast for highway merges. So I guess you shouldn't say really fast, it's fast. It's not like push you back in your seat fast, but it's definitely really solid, and you're gonna be able to accelerate and merge with traffic, no problems. So overall, if you've seen my other video, you know that I don't really like how this vehicle looks, but if beauty is in the eye of the beholder and you don't really care what the vehicle looks like, ride and comfort is really, really awesome. So if I had to summarize the Lexus LX 600 in a sentence, I would say it's not the most attractive vehicle on the block. It drives like a tank, but it is really smooth and it would be great for a road trip. So with that being said, we're gonna wait for the sunset, and I'll see you back here to look at this vehicle after dark. Now that the sun has finally set, let's check out the Lexus LX 600 at night. So the first thing I'm going to do is say this is with the automatic headlights on. So, you know, this is just what happens when you put it in automatic mode and your headlights just automatically turn on as it gets dark. So you can see your LED lights here, and then you have your daytime running light here. Let's see if we can get a better look at the separation. It's really hard to see them separated, but you have the light here and then the three LED lights there. So now let's see what the brights look like. And we'll look at the blinkers. So you can see it's not actually this that turns into the blinker light, it's this light strip under here that turns into the blinker. So you've got your right blinker, left blinker, and we'll go around to the back. Okay, this looks really cool from the back. I love this light bar that goes all the way across. I think that looks really elegant and nice. And then you have, you know, again, the little L motif with the light bar that goes to the side. And we'll look at the blinkers from the back. And again, nice, bright, right underneath the L. And I think that just, I don't know, I just love how this looks. I know this light bar across the back is a new trend that we're seeing on a lot of vehicles, but I think that Lexus does it really well. And as you can see, they've got the bold Lexus lettering here underneath. But all LED lights in the front and the back. And I don't know, I think at night it just looks really bold and really good. I'm also really a fan of the lighting signatures as you approach and enter the vehicle at night. So first off, you have this puddle lamp here with the Lexus logo on it, and it's coming from the underside of the mirror here. And as you unlock the vehicle, as you can see, as the mirror opens up, the little puddle lamp moves. So then you come in to the vehicle and you'll notice a little bit of a swirling animation right here. And I'm gonna try and, let's see, I'm gonna bring this out a little bit because in addition to the animation here, the head-up display will have an animation, and then there's almost like a little bit of an animation with the headlights. As you turn it on, you'll see it on the garage. So you have your stop-start button right here. And let's turn it on and let's see what you can see with the animations. All right, so the head-up display animation didn't show up, but the sparkling stars that you saw on the display over here also showed up in the heads-up display, and that's really cool. Now we can take a look at the rest of the Lexus LX 600 after dark. And you know, the first thing that I'm going to notice here is how muted the backlight is on these buttons on the steering wheel. You can see it, but it's just a little bit muted. It's not very obvious. It's certainly not as bright as it was in the Kia Sorento that we recently drove after dark. And I don't know if that bothers me or not, frankly. I mean, you can't see it as well on camera, but the buttons are just, and the everything is just a little bit less bright. But you can see it, so I guess it's fine. You've got your outline there for USB-A and USB-C ports. You can see your heated and cooled seats. It's just not as bright. So I mean, that's a thing, I guess. A personal preference, whether you like it or not. I like the behind the wheel gauges. I think those are very bright and very well lit. So, you know, as you're driving along, they're not distracting either. So even though they're bright, they're not distracting. What I really like is the head-up display, and let's see if we can zoom in here and see it. At night, that looks really well lit. On especially when you're driving on the highway or you're driving on a dark road, there's a lot of good information there, and it's not distracting. It just, I don't know, I think it's really well lit, and you can configure that display to show more or less information. I have it showing pretty much all the information that you can, and I like it that way, and I don't find it distracting, and I think that's also really well lit at night. I like the lighting on this screen here. I think that works. So whether you're in the native display, so the native navigation, native audio, or you move over to Apple CarPlay, I think that there's a lot of brightness there. It's actually really a contrast because that is so bright, that's not as bright, and then you have like those that aren't that bright at all. Your buttons on your steering wheel. So that I think could be a little bit distracting, but I do think you can tone that down a little bit. But all right, so this is, whether you're in daytime or nighttime, this I don't like. I don't like this second screen here. So this is going to show you your drive modes as you go through on this specific screen. It'll change your modes, but this is a static screen. It doesn't really do anything except to show your drive modes and show your HVAC controls. I hate it. I don't like this double screen. I would much rather have hard controls here. And you do have hard controls. So I've got my heated seat and my heated steering wheel, and you can see redundantly heated seat, heating steering wheel on over there. And yes, dual automatic climate controls. You can tell my husband was sitting in the passenger seat because he has his cooled seat on. But I just, daytime, nighttime, don't like this double screen. Still don't like it. I think it looks worse at night, frankly. Yeah, I don't like it. But overall, you don't really have any ambient lighting going on. The interior is just fairly dark. I tried to play around to see if there were any other options, and I didn't see any. So let's go into the back seat and we'll see what's going on there at night. Sitting in the back seat, I'm just going to say it's really dark back here at night with the lack of ambient lighting. And really all you're going to see is this right here, and that is going to be your rear climate controls. So you have the ability to change your fan speed, to turn up your heat, turn on a heated seat. So I like that. Cooled seat also. But yeah, I'm going back to the heated seat. On the outboard seats, so you have heated and cooled seats in the back. You have quad zone climate control, so I can be hot and, you know, this passenger over here can cool it down. So that's definitely neat. And I like all of the adjustability, but in terms of what you can see back here at night, yeah, there's not a lot, actually. It's pretty dark back here. I suppose if you did need a little extra light, there is a little LED light back here, and that lights things up. But again, for the most part, if you're just tooling along, you're probably not going to want that on. And yeah, it's dark. All right, that is my very quick look at the Lexus LX 600 after dark. I really like the exterior lighting, but the interior lighting is fine. I guess you can see what you need to see, but you're not going to see anything special. It's just fine. All right, so appreciate you spending the time with me this week, and don't forget to check us out on the web at pickuptrucktalk.com. You also need to remember we do live streams on most Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at pickuptrucktalk. So, until next time, I will see you down the road.